has troops
No,
in
you're
Britain.
mistaken. It was a unilateral agreement made in Congress that
That's what I'm saying. That the treaty. It's a signed treaty. In
not Roosevelt. Not Roosevelt.
Of course it was 1934.
But no, but it was 1959 when the revolution took place.
No, wait, but the United States has been there since the
No,
Spanish-American
there was in the
War.
The Spanish-American War, which was started by a guy called William Randolph Hearst. And that particular war was also an inside job,
Irwin,
just as this was an inside job.
Irwin, in 1934, President Roosevelt signed a treaty with the Cuban government, and from then on in, the United States has had a base in Cuba. It had the base before.
The base was given to them by the Congress gave 45 square miles to the United States
Irwin,
government.
Irwin, I don't know why you are arguing with me, Irwin. The United States has an unequal treaty with Cuba right now.
A unilateral agreement.
Good. All right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Of course I'm right. What makes you think that you're always right?
I don't always think I'm
Good. I'm glad
right.
you don't think sometimes.
Irwin, I'm sorry I met you. I'll take back my entire life if I can unmeet you.
No.
I can unmeet you.
Are you happy you met me?
I just hope
This is the first
pig and garbage.
This is the first in the history.
Happy as a pig in a garbage dump.
Well, I'm happy I've met all of you.
Wait, I have a statement that neither one of you will disagree.
Okay.
Do you know what started the Spanish-American War?
Yeah.
Key West. It happens to be true. I was in Key West, and they take credit for the whole Spanish-American War. Key West was the site and home of the wrecking industry and the salvage industry from the wreckers. If you ever saw the movie Reap the Wild Wind, with Ray Milland and John Wayne and Paul Goddard. Well, at the beginning, the first ship, the Maine, came out of Key West and sailed over somewhere near Havana and didn't do too well. It got blown up allegedly by William Randolph to the newspapers somehow or other. I'm not saying who, what, where, God forbid, but it got blown up, and then it limped back. The remains came back from the wreckers, from the salvage people from Key West. The remains came back to Key West, and the Spanish-American War was the result. So Key West claims complete credit for the whole Spanish-American War.
By the way, there's an incredible monument in Arlington National Cemetery that's actually built from the top of the Maine that was salvaged. It's there, actually part of the monument for the sailors who were buried in Arlington National Cemetery. But I have another interesting, because you're talking about the Key West connection. I bet people don't know that there was a South Bronx Hunts Point connection to the Spanish-American War.
Oh, what is that?
It's fascinating. There was well, you have to go back a little bit in history. There was a mansion that was built by a guy in the 1600s called Benjamin A. Whitlock. And that mansion was called Whitlock's Folly. It was the most expensive home ever built. It was built on Hunts Point in the Bronx, long gone. And he was a slave owner, and he had slave holding connections in Alabama and different states. And he actually made a speech in Manhattan after John Brown saying that there would always be slavery in America and abolitionism would never win. Therefore, he lost the Civil War and had to go bankrupt and was never heard from again. And he sold his building to a man by the name of Inocencio Casanova. In 1872, Inocencio Casanova turned that house into a secret military base with underground tunnels that led out into the East River, and they financed and sent secret missions, armed missions, in the first attempt at a Spanish war, a war of independence against Spain from Cuba in 1871. And they sent out a boat called the Virginius. It was something, they used to call it filibusterers, like where American slave owners were trying to seize control of other countries. So
How
they
long
went
more is
into
the story
Cuba.
gonna take?
Yeah, they went in. It's almost done. They went into Cuba. They had this boat, and on this boat was taken prisoner by the Spanish, and the Spanish went to the United States and said, "Is this your boat?" And the United States had told the sailors that we will disavow any knowledge of their
That's like
activities.
Mission Impossible.
Right, and they disavowed any knowledge of their activities, and the entire crew was summarily executed.
I'll tell you an even better story, and I'll even tell people where to go and see it for themselves, okay? The world's first modern submarine, meaning the one that first worked, okay, is in a museum in the Paterson, New Jersey Municipal Museum, because it was built there by John Holland, who, in spite of the name John Holland, was an Irishman. And he built it for the Irish Republican Brotherhood about 1880-something, all right? And it worked, okay? It looks like a submarine. It's a submarine, all right? What happened was one faction of the IRB, Brotherhood, stole the boat from Holland and ran it underwater, but ran it aground, okay? Holland got it back, and he was so PO'd, we have to obey censorship, so we call it PO'd, He was so PO'd at the Brotherhood that he left them and started professionally building submarines. John Holland built the first American fleet submarine, British fleet submarine, German submarine, you name it. Everybody's first submarine came out of New Jersey, out of John Holland's, but it's in Paterson, New Jersey.
I saw it.
All right, along with the largest waterfall south of Niagara, which is also
beautiful
the Great Falls of the Passaic. Now, all you New Yorkers, I know you all think you're worldly wise, you've been all over the world, you travel here, there, and the other thing. How many of you even know, all you wildy New Yorkers, the New York talk, that the second highest waterfall, the highest waterfall south of Niagara is in Paterson, New Jersey, and the world's first submarine? No, I mean, we're smart. But get out there and get smart with New Yorkers.
Gimmick from Israel.
All right, Irwin, I want to hear.
I did more for Israel than you ever could have done.
I ain't done nothing for Israel.
I know. Irwin, I want to hear your response because you didn't get a chance to say anything. That I went to Naples, and for the first time in Naples, they had a lady who was a member of the synagogue found swastikas outside her house one day when she wrote that, "How can God hate lesbians, gays, so on?" She found a sign outside her house, "Yes, God hates lesbians, gays, Democrats, and Jews." And this is happening all over the country today. So how do you respond to Mr. Brenner's allegory that there were Jews who definitely had been aligned with Mussolini in the early 30s?
Well, in the first place, it's just like everybody says that the Pope saved a lot of Jews. The Pope said, "I don't give a goddamn how many Jews they kill, as long as they kill the godless Russians." And he made a novena for Hitler's victory over the godless Russians. And this Pope from Germany now, who was part of the Hitler Youth, revoked the excommunications from a bishop who denies there was a Holocaust.
Oh, I saw that in the news. Yeah.
He denies there was a Holocaust.
Can I ask what you guys think of what's in the next few minutes? And we'll pick this up again in half an hour.
Because we're coming to the end.
Yeah,
of
unless
the
I
show.
talk at 8 o'clock. But what's going on in Iran? Is this a true revolutionary upsurge, or is it just a CIA front?
It's real. I mean, no. I mean, you got to be blind not to see all those people out there. I'm sure everybody's trying to put their hand into it. I mean, that's what governments are for. But no, this is real.
We raised $13 million in 1964.
With Sophie Tucker and George
Me,
Jessel.
Sophie Tucker, and George Jessel raised $13 million in 1963.
What's this got to do with Iran?
What? Iraq is the cradle of Western civilization.
Iran. We're talking. Shut up.
Iran, we killed Mossadegh.
What is this,
didn't
a
we?
joke? I mean, come on, man. I mean,
What are you talking about? Mossadegh nationalized the oil industry, and Britain said to the United States,